Hey there, my name is Alex, or Mont, and this is just a little video about Destiny. I should point out that it's an unscripted video too, so there might be a bit of rambling. First things first, I just wanted to mention that I have made a clan for Destiny, which you can join by following the link in the description. Basically, it's a web link, you click on it, sign into your Xbox Live or PlayStation account, join, and then you can set it as your active clan, or you can just follow it as like a group thing. Not really sure what sort of benefits there are or aren't at the moment, but yeah, feel free to check that out if you want to. That out of the way, well, let's talk a little bit about Destiny, shall we? So I didn't really follow that much of the hype for Destiny. I was like, oh, it's Borderlands made by the Halo developers, that's cool, I guess, because Halo is a pretty fun series in my opinion. I quite like it anyway, though I generally liked it more for the co-op than the multiplayer stuff, although multiplayer Halo 2 on Xbox was pretty damn good. Probably arguably what sort of started online gaming on consoles. Not online gaming in general, obviously, because PCs have been doing that since like, what, mid-90s I guess? Maybe a bit earlier? I don't know. But yeah, Halo 2 I think was like the big console online thingy. So Halo had a lot of hype behind it, I suppose, and it's a pretty interesting game. It's kind of like a FPS MMO, only when I say MMO I mean like massively multiplayer online, but it's not massively, but it is multiplayer and online. The basic gameplay elements I think are pretty good, the way the guns handle and all that, and I think there's some nice synergy between like the primary weapon, heavy weapon, and the other weapon, secondary weapon I guess. But there are a lot of problems with the game, and I think that's probably what we're going to be talking about mostly. And obviously let me know what you think about Destiny if you've been playing it. It's probably one of the biggest releases of the year, so I figure I might as well talk about it a bit. I've been playing it on PlayStation 4, but from what I can see it's mostly the same on Xbox One. And I've been playing the Warlock class, because I mean, just from like a cursory glance, you have three classes. You have Gunman, Sniper Man, and then Gunman who can also use magic, and it's like, why would you pick anything but that? But in actual gameplay terms, all it really affects is your your super ability in your grenades and melees, and I think had I known more about it I might have picked Titan instead, but all three classes are appealing in their own way I guess. Hunters are a bit kind of edgy with their swords and stuff, and whenever I see a hunter like spazzing towards me in PvP with the was it the Blade Dancer thing? I mean that's a pretty funny name, isn't it? Blade Dancer, and then their super is basically them spazzing around like a moth or something. A deadly moth that one-shots you. Yeah. But yeah, the game's split into like PvE and PvP. PvP I don't really have many issues with, I can't think of much to talk about or complain about. I mean, the fusion rifle seems broken because you can like feather the trigger and keep it fully charged and then instantly kill someone. That seems a bit silly to me, but yeah. Also, there doesn't seem to be much reason to use anything other than auto rifles at the moment, because you can use a scout rifle or a hand cannon, or I don't even remember what the other guns are. Are there even other guns? But yeah, pretty much everyone uses auto rifles because auto rifles are the best at the moment. I'll admit I'm using auto rifles too, but that's just because I like them. I really like the scout rifles too, but they just feel a bit underpowered or just not as useful at the moment. Actually, I was doing the raid, the Vault of Glass, and I got an exotic primary auto rifle, which I was pretty happy about. More on the raids in a moment though. So, some of my biggest issues with Destiny are they're trying to make it like an MMO, but it lacks a lot of the things that a good MMO needs. See, a lot of MMOs are made by their community. World of Warcraft, for example, the basic gameplay in World of Warcraft was never that great. It's easy to get into, which is a good thing, obviously, and it's got like quite nice feedback to it. I mean, you start playing World of Warcraft and then like 5 minutes in, your character explodes into golden light, and you level up, and you get more abilities, and it starts off nice and simple. And the abilities are like, it's not... A lot of MMOs have had a problem where they don't really give you proper feedback on like weapon attacks and stuff, but I think World of Warcraft was probably one of the first that actually gave you some nice feedback. Like, you pick a warrior or whatever, and you hit them with, what is it, heroic strike? I don't remember. And yeah, it feels more immediate, and it feels like your actions are doing something. Yeah, that's kind of off topic there, but yeah, World of Warcraft's community is kind of what made it for me. I was playing it because I was playing with some friends, and then you make more friends whilst playing, and you join a guild, and you have all these sort of social elements that keep you playing and give you something to work towards outside of getting like new items and progressing your character. You have like guild progress, I suppose. Although I think they actually added in like leveling up your guild or something. And I mean, I haven't played World of Warcraft since 2007. I mean, I haven't played it in ages, but yeah. But yeah, my point is, when you start up World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 11, 14, or presumably EverQuest and all these other MMOs that I've not played, you start in a city, or it's like a city, but normally you would like log into a city, and then you have like social chat, trade chat, looking for group, and all these things. Whereas you don't have any of that in Destiny. In Destiny you have a city area, a hub, but it doesn't really serve much purpose. I mean, you can go there and you can dance at people, and you can buy like more ammo or get quests and stuff, but you can't use that as an actual questing hub. I mean, other than sitting there and manually bringing up someone's profile and sending them a message like, "Hey douchebag, join my raid," it lacks a lot of these social elements. And it does have matchmaking, which I guess is like dungeon finders that I think they added those to most MMOs these days. But then they made the really weird choice to not have matchmaking for certain things, like what is it, the weekly heroic and the nightfall and the raid. Now, the raid I can kind of understand, because the raid is very different from the rest of the game, mechanically speaking, and you really do need communication for the raid, whereas the weekly heroic and the nightfall, they don't really need communication, in my opinion. It's just playing the game, but it's more difficult. You don't actually have to communicate. Whereas in the raid, you've got to be calling stuff out. You've got to say, "We're in the Venus one," or "We're in the Mars one," and that probably makes no sense to anyone who's not done the raid. But actually, let's talk about the raid, shall we? I've not actually finished the raid. The group I did it with, who were just some random people, we got up to the final boss, but we couldn't beat that, and not because of me, just saying. But yeah, the raids feel good because they have a lot of effort put into them, and they're much more complex, whereas all the other strikes or dungeons, they're pretty much the same thing. You go into a room and you wait for Tyrion Lannister, Peter Dinklage, Ghost, Dinklebot, whatever, and you wait for him to hack a door whilst you fight off waves of enemies. And then at the end you fight a boss who's just a giant bullet sponge, who you sit there and you shoot. And that describes pretty much every strike / dungeon in the game. And then you have the weekly and the nightfalls, which just add loads of modifiers onto that, which is fine, I guess. But the problem is the raid itself is so different from the rest of the game. It's like, imagine in World of Warcraft, if every single dungeon and every single instance was just, I don't know, the dead mines with absolutely no gimmicks and no like mechanics. And then suddenly they add in one dungeon which has ridiculously complex mechanics, like raid mechanics. It's a bit weird, but they've clearly taken inspiration from World of Warcraft and MMOs in general. When I say World of Warcraft, you can basically take that to mean MMOs, because if it's in an MMO, it's probably in World of Warcraft, or has been in World of Warcraft at some point. Apart from player housing, apparently, but did they ever add that into WoW? Who knows? Who cares? But yeah, so the raids are very complex compared to the rest of it, which I like and I don't like, because I kind of wish that every strike had some more complex mechanics to it than just go into a room and wait for Tyrion Lannister to hack the door. Gee, what else is there to say? So the basic gameplay I like. I like how it feels and how it plays, but I think the social elements are lacking, and I think they should definitely be matchmaking for weekly heroics and nightfalls and all that nonsense. And they should add better, like, looking for group style things, whether it be in the hub or in general, I don't know. Because they seem to be under the assumption that if you're playing Destiny, you are playing it with 5 other friends who are, you know, all playing like the same time as you are and stuff, and I don't know, I can't even imagine how we used to get raids done, like, back in 2005. I mean, 40 people, all, like, organised for a few hours? That was insane. I mean, I can't even do that with 5 people in Destiny. I mean, I don't even, like, none of my friends have Destiny. I don't think any of my friends even have a PlayStation 4, for that matter. Like, my real life friends, and it's, I don't know, because I want to do the raid content, but I just don't really have people to do it with, and I think it was a bit of a bad design decision, because, I mean, do most people really have 5 friends that they can sit there with for 5 hours? I mean, maybe, or maybe that's like a teenager thing, or someone, yeah, I honestly have no idea, but it's not really something I can get to work that easily, but yeah, it's a bit of a dilemma, I suppose. I really do love co-op games though, and I really like the raid. You need some pretty good teamwork, you need communication, coordination and all that, and it's fun. It's always fun to have some teamwork going down. It's just a shame that they don't really have the social tools in place. And yeah, what else is there to talk about? I guess like the lore of Destiny. You have like the grimoire stuff, and I don't know, it's cool, I like it, but I don't like that you can't read it in game. I think that's a really weird decision. And you can't manage your clan in game whatsoever. I mean, that's a really strange choice, in my opinion. I mean, when you buy a game, usually you expect everything you need for that game is in the game, right? I mean, sure, you can go and look on game FAQs for a guide, but it's quite rare that you would need to go outside of the game to manage in-game things, like looking at the in-game lore, which isn't actually in-game. But it unlocks in-game, but then says, oh, but if you actually want to read that, go on the website. Same with the clan, you can't even leave your clan in-game, as far as I'm aware. You can't leave, join, or manage clans. The lore, though, I'm kind of tempted to make some, like, lore videos for Destiny, just on, you know, the Fallen, the Hive, the Vex, the Cabal, stuff like that, because I find it quite interesting. I mean, and don't worry, it won't like interfere with making Dark Souls videos, no worries there. But yeah, I think that could be quite fun to do, and I've changed the way I'm sitting on my chair about 5 times whilst recording this. I should really sit still, as it's probably completely changing like the audio levels on the mic. Yeah, anyway, Destiny, it's okay. I'd give it maybe a 6.5 out of 10, I don't know. I hate giving things ratings out of 10, I just like saying what bits are good and what bits suck. The story sucks, by the way, like the story mode. It has absolutely no set piece moments whatsoever. outside of arguably the final boss. Pretty much the whole story is basically, go here, let me hack this, now shoot things, yay. I mean, coming from the developers of Halo, who have made some really awesome set-piece moments, like driving across the collapsing Halo in Halo. Actually, you kind of do that in every Halo game, don't you? Yeah, I think that's also one of the things of making it an always online game. You have to... There are some elements that you just can't really do, which is why a lot of the game is basically gauntlet mode. Go into a room, shoot enemies, go into the next room. Yeah, the actual story was kind of lame, and they never really explained anything to you. It's like they expect you to do it in a Dark Souls way, which doesn't work, because in Dark Souls, they tell you enough, and all the information is there for you, whereas early on in Destiny, a guy actually says, and it's voiced by Bill Nye, by the way, not Bill Nye the Science Guy, the British actor, and he like says, I could tell you of the interesting thing B or interesting thing A, but I'm not going to tell you because fuck you. Go and kill some stuff and fly around to like Venus and Mars. Yeah, and it feels like they were going for a Dark Soulsy kind of experience, but it didn't work at all. I mean, imagine if in Dark Souls, Oscar just went, I could tell you of the undead prophecy, but I ain't gonna. And imagine if every NPC would just like popped up and said something mysterious and then vanished again without ever giving you anything to go with. It's not like, I mean, it's badly written, but not really badly written. Like, some of the dialogue and actual writing is fine, but it's just the way it's all constructed is really crap. But I guess they're going to continue expanding the story, so maybe I'm speaking too soon, but from the base vanilla stuff, it's poop. And one more thing that... it's really annoying that they introduce the very first enemies in the game as the Fallen, and when you hear the Fallen, what do you think? Especially when you've just seen your main character come back to life from like a corpse. It makes you think of zombies or something, doesn't it? But no, the Fallen aren't actually like fallen-y things. The Fallen are just like space pirates and space mercenaries who happen to be called the Fallen instead of like the angry space pirate men. That's a really kind of minor complaint, but man, it bugged the hell out of me. Because I kept thinking like, why are they called the Fallen? And then eventually I found out by looking at the grimoire stuff that no, they're not like actually fallen in any sort of sense of the word. That's just what they call themselves for some reason. I mean, the Hive are more like what you'd imagine something to be called the Fallen. Then you have like the Vex and the Cabal. Why the hell are we even fighting the Cabal? Our character's just a dickhead. He's like, yeah, we need some information. Let's go sneak into these like Roman Empire military alien people and steal it from them, instead of just asking them. Considering they're actually also fighting the main enemies of the game as well, the Vex, I think. It's like, really? Why don't you just try and be nice to the Cabal instead of making another enemy? Jeez, I mean, sure, there's probably actually good reasons for that, like, no, the Cabal were planning to invade Earth or something like that, but they don't tell you that. They just make it seem like your character's a dick. I don't know. Destiny. But yeah, it's pretty fun, and if you want to join the clan, go ahead, maybe we'll try playing something. Be it PvP or raid or... I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think of Destiny in the comments, and if you haven't been playing Destiny or anything, then... well, if you watched all of this without, like, knowing or caring about Destiny, then I guess you just really like hearing the sound of my voice or something, which is a little bit weird. Okay, it's not weird, it's just weird to me, because I hate my voice. Anyway, I'm gonna have a video on this Halloween community playing stuff in a few weeks, and I've rambled on for like 20 minutes. I'm gonna go because I've got a lore video to work on actually, and yeah, that'll be up in a few weeks, and it's about Navlan. Spoilers,